ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. You see, some seekers have asked their master to give a deep and radical experience, to bring some change in their life so that they can completely shift to spiritual paths. See, many seekers are in search of a mystical reality, spiritual mystical reality that will solve all their problems, and that experience will completely transfer them or shift them to the spiritual path. However, many seekers also understand that persistence and individual effort are necessary for that realization. You see, in this regard, one of the famous quotes is that one should take and own complete responsibility for their own liberation. They should take complete responsibility for their own realization, because it is not a thing to be awarded en masse. It is an individual affair. So, in fact, in spite of the profound spiritual experiences, seekers continue to live without any change, because even though they have received such profound experiences, spiritual experiences in life, that will not bring any transformational change in their attitudes, behavior, and living patterns. In fact, realization or enlightenment is a culmination of many lessons, learnings, and experiences in life, which gives an insight over a period of time to the individual. So, unless and until you dwell on the path with immense love and quest for God or for truth, one will not be able to realize the grace of that omnipresent divinity. You see, some books gives an impression that by the magical touch one gets enlightened. But in reality, it is not so, because unless, even if you have that kind of realization, it will be only a temporary phase in your life, and which will not have any effect in your being, as no transformation is possible with that experience. Because unless one is in readiness and awareness, he will not be able to sustain that phenomenal experience, and ultimately it will have no effect on him. Because it is like this: when you see a Nobel Prize winner, naturally you get inspired by him, but you forget the fact that that winner has dedicated his life and put tremendous efforts, both physical and mental, to discover that invention. So you forget all that, the effort behind his winning, and if you go on praising him, if you go on following him, what effect does it have on you to win a Nobel Prize like him? See, that is an effort put forth by him in his life. So, by just following him, nobody can get that kind of a prize. So, enlightenment or realization is such a thing. Just by repeating, just by following, we reach nowhere. It serves only as information, but information, any kind of information, any amount of information is not going to transform you unless you put your own effort with that quest and thrust for omnipresent divinity. You will not be able to realize yourself that wisdom. So, similarly, we see and we read that Buddha has become enlightened under a Bodhi tree overnight. So, that comprehending the greatness of that event does not give you and does not give you any awareness of the fact that there is a tremendous effort, immense love, and ardent spiritual practices behind that event or happening which has happened to Buddha. We ignore that tremendous effort behind that happening. So, one has to purify himself, and which nobody is going to help you in that process of purification of yourself, because you know yourself what is there in you, and you only have to delve into yourself and dispel all those illusions which have been formed or which have been accumulated unconsciously by you. So, when that happens, when you start that process of purifying yourself, then you come to realize over a period of time that the divinity which is there and which will always be there, you realize that you are not separate from it, and you are the divine child, came from the womb of that cosmic womb of divinity. So, when you realize this truth, then something changes in you. A transformational movement comes in realizing, in the process of realizing this fact and truth, and that moment something changes in you forever. If you live that change with mindfulness and awareness, then you begin to enjoy and realize your own self, which is a product of the whole divinity, that infinite divinity. So, thank you.